everyone, welcome to Make Moments Matter, a music education podcast, where I share lesson ideas, songs, games, and inspiring things for your elementary music classroom. My name is David Rao, and I am the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. This episode of the podcast is a replay containing the audio version of a Musical Mondays live video. If you're not familiar with Musical Mondays, every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I go live on Facebook and Instagram to share about the lessons that I'm using in class with my students. I give a recap of my kindergarten through 5th grade lessons, and then do a deep dive about one grade level and share the books, instruments, songs, and process that I use to teach the lesson to kids. This podcast episode contains all the audio from the Musical Mondays video, but if you'd like to see a replay of the video itself, you can find a link to the archived video on YouTube when you click the link in the notes for this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's the show. Hey everyone, my name is David Rao, and I'm the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. You can also find my ideas on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, a variety of other places when you search for my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. Tonight, I'm going to be sharing about a song that I've taught for many years called Willum, He Had 7 Sons. And I'm going to share the process of how I teach this. I do it mostly with primary grades. So I'm going to go through how I teach this, things that I use, the process, and how I let students stay engaged along the way, things I do to keep kids engaged. So that's coming up in just a second. Just a couple quick reminders. If you want to hear about any books, resources, anything else that I mentioned in this video, I have a whole page on my blog dedicated to that. Just click the video tab or the link wherever you're watching or listening to this video, and you should be able to go straight there. Another thing, if you want to connect, if you're a Facebook person, I have a Facebook group. You can find me, Every Moment Matters, a music education community, or if you want to, you're a Patreon person and you want to have even more, you can find me on Patreon there. Okay, and or in-person workshops, like actual, like real people together. I'm going to be doing a bunch in the next month. Actually, next weekend, so January 19th and 20th. I'm going to be at Wyoming Music Educators doing 5 different sessions. So if you're in Wyoming, you're a Wyoming music educator, come to Cody. We'll see you next Monday, Tuesday. And then the following Saturday, I'll be with the Greater Rochester Orff chapter in Rochester, New York. I hope you'll come and visit us there. I'm doing a day-long workshop on Saturday, the 24th. On Friday, Saturday, the January 30th and 31st, I'll be with the Illinois Music Educators at their conference. Thanks to West Music for bringing me out. And so if you are around the Peoria area, come and join us. We're going to have a really great time. And then February 11th through the 14th, I'm doing 6 sessions with the Texas Music Educators. So psyched to be back in San Antonio and to see a lot of old friends and make new friends and share a bunch of sessions and have a lot of good chips and salsa and whatever else you might get on the Riverwalk. Please send me recommendations. Okay. So let's talk through this song, and we're going to talk about the process of how I do it. I always have, well, not always, I have done this as a like back to school from winter break song for my kindergartners, sometimes first graders. It depends on the year and the grades. And I've done this as a back to school song because it's just like so much fun for them, but also starts them thinking. I think I first originally heard about this song from this book, the Fire Robin book, The Songs and Rhymes with Beat Motions. I think that's where I first found it. I'm not exactly sure. I've been doing it a long time. But for years and years and years, I have been teaching it as Willum, W-I-L-L-U-M, had 7 sons. So flash to me today as I'm looking in the book because I thought, oh, I'll talk about this on Musical Mondays. And in the book, it is William, he had 7 sons. And I was like, that seems like a very odd, specific thing for me to get wrong. Is it William or Willum? Why would I do it as Willum? And then I remember that for a couple years I sang it in major, and it is absolutely in minor. So I was like, oh, maybe I just got that wrong. And then I did some research, and you can do it. You can find it both ways, William or Willum, W-I-L-L-U-M. I think that Willum is the original, and I think it's. I was looking at it very briefly. It's either Scottish or Irish, and so I think originally it was Willum, but maybe now it's in the United States is known as William. I don't know, but I now know that you can do it either way. I still sing it as Willum with my kindergartners, and they don't have really any problem with that. They're like, oh, cool, another name. Anyway, I'm just going to go through this process like as I do it with kids, and you can just sort of see the different steps along the way. And the first thing I say with kids is, we're in a circle. We've just come into the classroom. I say, I have a story about a man named Willum, and he had 7 kids. They were all boys, and so that would be his sons. He had 7 sons, and that's a lot of kids. It's a lot of kids to have. Can you show me how you might make the number 7 using your fingers? And so, a lot of kids will do 5 on one hand and 2 on the other. Cool. Okay, so if you have 5 on this hand and 2 on this other, what if you flipped it? So you have 5 on one hand and 2 on the other. Oh my gosh. And I think, I don't know if you can tell Instagram, but when I do like the peace sign or the hands up, it like did balloons. Fun reactions. Cool. Anyway, so sorry if your screen just filled up with balloons. I didn't mean that. Can you show me 7 with your fingers? So I have kids do that a couple different ways. 5 on one hand, 2 on the other. I have them switch it. So it's 2 on one hand, 5 on the other. Is there another way to show 7? Sure. You can do 3 on one hand and 4 on the other, or you can flip that too. Or sometimes I'll have kids do silly things where it's like 5 on one hand and then they'll split the 2 on the other. So it looks like, rock out fingers or whatever. I mean, there are a lot of things you can do, but I say you need to have a way to show 7, because when I sing the song, it has the number 7 in it. And anytime I sing the word 7, I want you to show the number 7. This has been especially interesting this year because of 6-7. But anyway, I know you all can anticipate that. So when I'm singing it, I say, okay, I'm going to sing the song. At any time I say the number 7, you got to show me 7 with your fingers. Okay, and normally I would sing this in falsetto because it's my kindergartners, but for you all, I'm going to sing it with my like adult boy voice. And so I would go like this. Willum, he had 7 sons, 7 sons, 7 sons. Willum, he had 7 sons. This is what they did. And each of the sons did something different. But we'll get to that in a second. You just need to find the 7s. Did you find the 7s? And they're like, yeah, we found the 7. Okay, I'm going to sing it again. And remember, you gotta hold up 7 anytime I sing 7. But if I'm not singing 7, you can put away the 7. So, Willum, he had 7 sons, 7 sons, 7 sons. Willum, he had 7 sons. This is what they did. Okay, so the 7 sons, and each one did something different. Now, I've done, again, a little bit of research into the history of this song. There are some versions that say that Willum was building a house. And so each one of the 7 sons does something that is related to building a house. But there are a lot of other versions that are like, let the kids choose what the 7 kids are doing, or, come up with different actions. There are many different ways to do this. So you choose the one that works for you. I'll just tell you that I, one year was like, I don't know, I'm just going to give each son something different to do. And I have sung it that way for a while, but I've also done the version where like I let kids come up with different things. That just takes more time. So in this version, I'll just share like what are the 7 that I randomly chose one year that have stuck with me that I keep doing. So I stick with the original that I found in a couple different versions of like what was number 1. And number 1 seemed to be chopping wood. I don't know why. So maybe they are building a house and he's chopping wood to make the house. Anyway, so for kids, we learned that chorus. Willum, he had 7 sons. And we do the actions, right? And then I say, okay, well, this time, we're going to see what the 7 sons do. So the first son woke up and said, it is a perfect day for chopping wood. And so he did this. Number 1 was chopping wood, chopping wood, chopping wood. Number 1 was chopping wood. This is what they did. Now, okay, did you notice I was doing the action of chopping wood? Not really, because I don't really have an axe or a hatchet or whatever, but I'm going to hold out my hand and my other hand's going to do this chopping action, and my kids are like, great, give me that action, I will do it. So they try it with me, and then I sing it again. Number 1 was chopping wood, chopping, and this is where I'm trying to like pull them back in, like winter break is over, and I say, watch my action, because I think something happens with the action that will spark an idea for you. Number 1 was chopping wood, chopping wood, chopping wood. Number 1 was chopping wood. This is what they did. As I was chopping, did you notice something? Did it remind you of anything we learned last semester? And sometimes they will immediately go a steady beat. Hopefully
they will. But if they don't, I'll say like, my chopping wood, is it speeding up? Is it slowing down? No, it stays the same. That's a steady beat. And so sometimes we'll do it where we will add an acceleron. Number one was chopping wood, chopping wood, chopping wood. Number one was chopping wood. This is what they did. So we do the, what is not a steady beat so they can see that and feel that and try it. Okay. So, but then that's it. That's the verse, right? So there's chopping wood. So with kids, I say, you don't need to sing yet, but you can do the action. And so, we go through and they do the steady beat of the chopping. And I say, okay, well, I'm singing about the 7 sons. I'm singing about the chopping wood. I do need you to sing. There's something, and this is not in the original. This is, I think, just a David Rao random edition, because I haven't found it in the versions that I see online, but or in print that I have. At the end of each verse, I do a cumulative like recap of what we've done. So at the end, I say, I'm going to sing the number of the kid, and you get to sing what they did. So I'll go number 1, and you get to go chopping wood. And so I add that on every verse. So number 1 was chopping wood, chopping wood, chopping wood. Number 1 was chopping wood. This is what they did. Number 1, chopping wood. And then the kids get to sing that back. I don't think that's original of the song. I think I randomly made that up one time. If I'm wrong, please correct me. If you're like, oh, I've done that for 30 years with that. Okay, that's possible. I just don't. There are many versions of this. So maybe I found that and borrowed it. But I don't see it in any of the versions. So I'm like, maybe I made that up. I don't know. Okay, so that's number 1. I say, but there wasn't just one son. How many sons were they? There were 7. Willum, he had 7 sons. So we have a reprise of the chorus, right? So we go back and sing that again. And I say, number 2. Oh, number 2. One day he woke up and went, oh, it's a beautiful day to go for a swim. Now, number 2, their house, Willum's house, was right on a lake. And number 2, here, take number 2, walk him over the lake. And we're using our fingers for like a little finger play. He jumps in the lake and he swims out to the boat and he swims back. He swims out and he swims home. And then he sees a rock out in the lake, and he swims there and he swims home. He swims away and he swims home. And then he goes to his friend's house and he swims away and he swims home. And it's always the swimming away, swimming home, swimming away, swimming home. Okay, but that's what he does. Number 2 was swimming home, swimming home, swimming home. We add that in. And I said, but instead of just doing finger actions, could your whole arm do the action? Could your arms do, what would be a way to swim? So we play with different ways to swim, or maybe like a breaststroke, or maybe a doggy paddle. I don't know. Kids get to decide the action that they choose. So I give them the options of, okay, you could do crawl stroke, you could do breaststroke, you could do doggy paddle, you could do backstroke. I don't care. You get to choose the action you want as long as you're doing it during the verse of this song. Cool. So then I'll sing it. We'll go through and I'll let them do whatever action they choose. So maybe do number 2 was swimming home, swimming home, swimming home. Number 2 was swimming home. This is what they did. Number 1, chopping wood. Number 2, swimming home. So now it's cumulative and they have to remember what each one does and sing that back to me. The only thing I have asked them to sing is that sing back what each one does. The rest, they've already started picking up and have started singing along, especially on the chorus, the Willum, he had 7 sons. But if they aren't doing that right away, I'm okay with that. I just want them to sing on the one part and do the actions, do the whatever on the other part. Okay, so we get done with number 2 and I go, and that's it? That's all the sons? And they're like, no, didn't you say there were 7? I'm pretty sure you said many times there were 7. Right, sorry, 7. Okay, Willum, he had 7 sons, 7. And so now that I've made it like a silly thing, like I forgot how many there are, now many more of them are joining in on singing on the chorus because they're like, they're reinforcing for me how many sons there were. So it becomes like a fun little game for them to sing along. So they're singing, we always do the chorus, they do the fingers. Number 3, one year I made up this version for number 3. Number 3 woke up and, oh, it's a beautiful day to go back to bed. Number 3 was sleeping in. He was too tired. And if any of you have an older brother, older sister, older sibling, whatever, they love to sleep. And so, especially if they're teenagers, oh my gosh, they love their sleeping. Okay, so this one this is the best action of the day because you get to pretend you're asleep. Number 3 was sleeping in, sleeping in, sleeping in. So same process we go through. They sing, I sing, And by this point, a lot of them are singing. I even might say, oh my gosh, you're singing along. Wow, that's exciting, which encourages many more of them to sing. Because the only thing we're really changing, we're not changing the melody. The only thing we're changing, or even the formula stays the same. We're just changing what each one does. So many of them have picked it up and are singing along and trying it. So number 3 is sleeping in. And at the end, so we'll go number 1, chopping wood. Number 2, swimming home. Number 3, sleeping in. Okay, and so then, how many sons are there? There's 7. We sing that again. Willum had 7 sons. Okay, so then number 4. Okay, I'm going to show you. Number 4 was driving, but not like this. And I pretend like I'm calm driving. Okay, not like this. Slow driving. Number 4 was driving like this. Like I drive just like an F1 Formula, whatever. I don't know, like a stock car drive, whatever reference you want. And the kids are like, he was driving crazy. I was like, crazy and fast. He was going really fast. Number 4 is driving fast. Okay, so number 4, we do driving fast. And then the tricky thing, my friends, if you're going to sing this, and really so many of you are singing already, which is great. The tricky thing is you have to sing, and you can't do the car noises. Oh, I know we want to do the car noises. Let's try a couple. And so then I let them try a couple because inevitably they're going to want to do that. So we try some car noises, and then I say, okay, now let's sing it while we act all fast and exciting. Number 4 was driving fast, driving fast, driving fast, and we even sing it faster so that they get that feeling of sped up. And then we go back and sing, Willum, he had 7 sons. We add it to the list, and we do all the things. Number 5, I do slightly differently. I say, number 5 went, oh, it's a beautiful day too. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what number 5 did. I'm only going to act it out. So watch carefully and see if you can figure out what I'm doing. So I will give you the full pantomime if you want. So, okay, these things. All right. Okay. Okay. Stir. Okay. If you're listening to this as a podcast, I am doing a wonderful, amazing job of pantomiming right now. Okay. Okay. You gotta watch out for this part. It's hot, so gotta be really careful. All right. Okay, now I gotta wait a minute. Okay, time to take it out. Ding. All right, now I have to be very careful. It's hot. I'm gonna put on my. Okay. All right. Okay, this might be. Okay, so if you've been watching, I have very expertly pretended to bake a cake, and all kids absolutely know right away. That's not true, but I do my very best to pantomime mixing, and usually it's when I start mixing the batter that kids get kind of the idea, especially if I do eggs and do the batter and then put it in the oven. A lot of them get that. Some of them get it when I'm doing like icing. I don't know why they get that, but some of them do. Anyway, so I pretend I'm baking a cake. And so usually many of them figure that out. The oven does help too. So it's just fun it's another way to teach the content without explicitly saying this is what we're doing. It keeps them engaged, keeps them thinking, and it excites them in the story. Okay, so we bake the cake. And I say all those actions I did, you can choose and do any of those while we're singing. So if you want to do the mixing of the batter, you can do that. You want to do the measuring of the ingredients, you can do that. You want to crack an egg, fine. Put it in the oven as long as you're careful. You do any of those things, I don't care. Any of those actions of the baking the cake, you go for it. So we do and we sing, and at the end, so it's number 1, chopping wood. Number 2, swimming home. Number 3, sleeping in. And this is when I pretend that I have fallen asleep. But by number 5, when we get to sleeping in the list, that's when I legit pretend to fall asleep. They're like, Mr. Rao, Mr. Rao. I'm like, oh, sorry. Number 4, driving fast. Number 5, baking cake. So, and then I go, when that's all the sons. No, then we have to sing Willum had 7 sons again. Okay, so then we get on to number 6. Number 6 went, Oh, it's a beautiful day too. I'm not going to tell you this one either. You have to figure it out. Okay, so number 6 comes down and goes, oh. Uh-huh. Mm. Mm. Okay. And kids are like, you're eating something. I was like, yes, what am I eating? And they're like, some kids are like cereal. I was like, no, 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 no. If it were cereal, I pantomime like a bowl, milk, whatever. I was like, I didn't do any of that. No, no, no. Okay. So what am I eating? And so the kids are like, oh, I was like, what do you know that we have? And they're like, is he eating the cake? Yes, he's eating the cake. Number 5 baked the cake. Number 6 is eating the cake. Okay, so they love that. And I say, okay, no, my grandma, when I was little, taught me you should not talk with food in your mouth. And you know, when my grandma said, David, do not talk with food in your mouth, I said, okay, grandma, I'm sorry. And then she was really upset, you know. But she also said you shouldn't sing with food in your mouth. But in this case, we have to do it because we have to sing what number 6 did and pretend to eat the cake. So I don't know, just try not to get any cake. Like, try not to spit any cake out while you're singing. Number 6 was eating cake. You know, okay, so then we'll do the eating the cake version. And then my favorite is number 7. Oh, yeah, and then we'll say, oh, that was all the sons. No, there are 7. Okay, so we have to sing Willum, he had 7 sons again. And by this point, I'm not really singing that chorus. They're doing it all on their own because they've done it over and over and over. They should know it by now. So we get to the very end. And number 7, what was number 7 doing? Okay, well, before we even tell you what number 7 is doing, can you take your fingers, pretend like they're walking along the street? Okay, great. Now, what would you do if I said they need a tiptoe? How would that look different? Okay, what if it was skipping? And so we try a bunch of different things. Hip hopping and stumbling was one we did the other day. And eventually it leads to jumping. So jumping. And I said, okay, well, number 1, jump like this. Number 2, jump like this. Number 3, jump like this. Number 4, jump like this. They're all the same, basically. Number 5, number 6, and number 7, jump like this. That was different, wasn't it? The other ones jumped just like, 2 or 3 inches off my hand. Number 7 jumped like a foot and a half, basically, jumped really high. Because number 7 was jumping high. So take your little fingers and we'll try it. Number 7 was jumping high, jumping high, jumping high. Number 7 was jumping high. This is what they did. Number 1, chopping wood. Number 2, swimming home. Number 3, sleeping in. Sorry. Number 4, driving fast. Number 5, baking cake. Number 6, eating cake. Number 7, jumping high. Great, now we can do number 8 was, and then the kids are like flabbergasted that all this time I've thought there's less than 7, and now I'm suggesting there's more than 7. They're like, no. So we do Willum had 7 sons, and then I say, I'm sorry. The song's over, but before we go on, we sang about jumping, and I didn't let you actually jump. You just used your fingers to jump. That does not seem fair. Okay, we better stand. So we stand up, we do number 7 as if, and they are the ones actually jumping. And I sing it through and I go, no, kindergarten. You must not have heard it. It says jumping high. That wasn't high. We better try again. And so they jump and they go, and I was like, no. High. You're just, no. And so then they're like, we're jumping high. But like this, they've been sitting a while. So this is like to get some of that energy out, but also like they want to jump, right? So it's just a fun little addition you can add. Like I said, all of those 7 things, except for chopping wood. Chopping wood is in like all the versions that I find in print. It's there, but I just made up those other things based on the story that I wanted to tell. You can change and do anything that you want in a different order or different actions or different whatever. Like I said, there are a couple versions I found online of like Willum is building a house. So maybe each one, like one is chopping wood and one is hammering nails and one is sawing, I don't know. You could do that if you wanted or not. I mean, like kids maybe don't know what it takes to build a house. So like you could go through that if you wanted, but like you could just make it about 7 sons doing 7 different things. It's up to you. But it's a super fun song. I did put a couple extra things on the links page, including a link to the song being sung and accompanied on guitar, so you can like hear it again if you want to hear it. Also to a version of the notation I found online from the Kodai Corner website. And then there is like, again, I think that this song is originally from, let me see if I can pull it up here. I think it's originally from Ireland or Scotland. And I put on, where did I put on the links page? There's a link to a YouTube video of someone performing this with like very complicated, like not, I'm not gonna say body percussion, but like tap and then tap snap and then tap something, but like very sort of like complicated actions. And it comes from the, let me see if I can pull up the actual reference here. Ooh, sorry. Hold on, I'm trying to find this reference so I don't say it incorrectly. It comes from the National Youth Choir of Scotland, these actions. So let's assume that it's Scottish. But these are like actions that they use. It's from their YouTube page. It's super fun, but would need to be not kindergarten. It would need to be older students. So that might be cool if you've done this with younger students as like a fun back to school activity, or back to school from winter break activity. Maybe if you want to bring it back in a later year, like second, third, or fourth grade, you could do it again and include these. I'm feeling like semi-complicated actions, but you should see them for yourself, engage whether it's possible or not. But like I said, I put that on the links page. It says fun, complicated body actions, body percussion / actions, if you want to go check that out and see if that would work for you and your students. Okay, I hope this gave you some ideas of what you could do with this song and the different ways you could take it. Like I said, if you want more ideas and you want to see me in person, I'm going to be at Wyoming Music Educators, Illinois Music Educators, Texas Music Educators, and the Greater Rochester ORF chapter all within the next month. I hope I'll see a lot of you at those different locations. And if not, I'll see you again here for Musical Mondays videos in the coming weeks. So have a great night, everyone. Thanks for coming along with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.